Satsang. To be with the truth. It all depends on the way you look at the creation. We all are continuously in the journey of the truth. Namaste to you all. I welcome you for today's Satsang. What would the world look like if humanity is able to spiritually evolve from where it is now? This includes social structures, economics, politics, etc. From Lucy, what would the world would look like? Somebody wants to have a nice dream to look into how it will look. But anyway, it's a good question. See, spiritual evolution always comes with freedom, celebration, oneness. These freedom, celebration, oneness, once these are established in society, in politics, in education, it will bring a different world setup, for example, where there will be no borders, where there will be a system where haves will share with have-nots. Now, there is a big difference between people who have, like if we consider about, let's say about 500 people on this planet, the richest 500 people on this planet, if we consider, they have the resource more than what collectively other human beings has. Naturally, if they are all spiritually evolved, or they are under the influence of spiritual evolvement, naturally they will feel to share what they have, and haves will not be peaceful if they see have not. Compassion, I would like to stand for them, all such feelings will naturally come out. And another most beautiful thing what will happen is the budget around the globe for which they are spending is more than 40% for arms, ammunition, maintaining army, police. It comes more than 40% of the budget. All these will be utilized for health. All these will be utilized to support people. Imagine a situation where we don't need any army or police. So what a wonderful society that would be. Even for the people who are serving in the army and police, they will also be in a different mind state where they will not be firing the bullets against other co-human beings. And if we look back, the ugliest thing, what happened till now, the wars, the crimes, what they did on other human beings, and what religion brought to us, all these will stop. If we look back our history as humans, still we are not eligible to be called as humans. We are like animals, still struggling and not at all considering any other human beings as themselves. Because spirituality means feeling you in the other. There will be no border between you and the other. So normally once it establishes, naturally you will not have any cruelty, violence. All those things will be stopped by itself. Because you will not be violent on you only. Your right hand cannot be violent on your left hand. Your right hand will not beat your left hand. In the same way, you will not be able to show any violence or aggressiveness towards other beings. And also one more thing, what we need to understand is, when you evolve spiritually, the most indicative point of spirituality is your established peace and celebration. If you see a spiritual person, always they will be calm, peace, quietness. Their presence is very, very influential. An unexplained energy will be there around them, spiritual people. So such energy, when flourishes all over the globe, it will bring an entirely different atmosphere. And the most crucial thing, what will happen is, the technology what we develop will take in a right direction. Nowadays, we have to fear about the technology. We all have fears because of atomic bombs, because of biological weapons. We all know how much suffering and disturbance the virus brought to us. And they say this is just an experiment. This experiment is a warning signal. So they have in the laboratory very, very dangerous virus which can wipe out the whole human beings. Already it is invented and already it is stored. Biological weapons is one of the very dangerous weapons. It's more danger than even nuclear weapons. It brings a lot of sufferings. Yet, as humans we have. Why? So the technology which is used to cure cancer, the same technology is also used to store biological weapons. So such misdirected technology will stop. Because spirituality means losing the fear. Once you lose the fear, you develop the oneness, you develop the sharing, you develop the attitude of feeling you in other. So such all positive things will flourish in the society, and through that we will have a entirely different set of society. And also what it brings is, it brings enormous capacity for the technology evolution. Because why it's not so fast? See, even if we consider the period or the time which we took from development of a wheel to present state of where we are entering into quantum physics, it took more than 100 years. More than 100 years. maybe more than 200, 300 years. So, in a way, it's very slow. Technology development is also very slow when compared to the capacity of human brain. Because people are not so creative. Why people can't be creative? Because they are not so spiritual. How creativity and what is creativity, how it flows out of spirituality? To understand that, what we need to understand is the science of creating. What source need to be creative? To be creative, what is creativity? Creativity means you have to bring something new. What other people could not see, could not bring, that you should be able to bring. So, then what is creativity? Creativity means something new. Something new means you are not in a repetitive circle. So, once you are not in a repetitive circle, you are not in a thought process. If you look at the mind, constantly people spend time thinking. When you think, always you think about your past experiences and your present experience, whatever you may be experiencing, constantly it's influenced by the past, or you think about the future, which has the base of the past. Spirituality means stopping this thought process, meaning stopping relying on the past or future. Creativity means a presence. A presence means unpredictable. Unpredictable means creativity. That's what creativity. Creativity is something unexpectedly new comes. That's why even if you ask any creative people, whether they are a poet or painters or anything they could choreograph new for dancers, they create in a moment something, from somewhere it comes out, and they develop it through thought process. Then they think about it. But the new idea will come only out of thoughtless state. You take an example of your own experience in life. Whatever you are able to create, you will be creating it in a kind of state where there is no thought or there is no involvement of the mind. That dimension of creativity will flourish. See, in a way, it grows parallel. If you are spiritual, you are very creative. Out of that creativity, whether you are going to a technology field to create more equipments, or you become a painter, a dancer, or a musician, you are having that creative capacity. So now, in a way, technology is not developing so fast, mainly because people are not spiritual also. For the present state of the mind of people, imagine a situation, you are able to create technically a thing. For example, hydrogen bomb. Anybody can create hydrogen bomb in their home. Actually, it's easy. If you know the technique, it's not so difficult. By investment of some millions, anybody can create. So, but technology is not available to the mass. So imagine globally it's available for all, then what would have been the situation? Any mad mind will sit and develop, and it will end up in destruction of the whole humanity. That is why creation brings it parallel. Ability to create, ability to be spiritual, or unable to create, or unable to be spiritual. Both runs parallel. So of course, if the balance is missed, technically you are evolving super duper fast, and spiritually if you are not growing, it brings destruction. Definitely. See, the glimpses we can see. Nowadays, even nowadays, countries attacking other countries. What inhuman? See, a human being, for example, Russia is attacking, so can't they see thousands of people becoming homeless, dying, children are dying, yet they will not feel it as a pain for themselves. Oh, I am strong, militarily I have equipments, I have the ability to destruct, that's it. I go for destruction. I don't care what happens for the others. So this kind of difference will go. Oneness will develop. So this way of a new generation, new way of seeing at life, a new way of bringing up will come. See, once the technology develops, see now, for example, cloning is also a technology. If cloning is made available for public, which is not like a super duper place and all, doesn't need it. You need to have a laboratory, you need to have required technique, and you need to have know-how and availability of little equipments. If the cloning is available, and if duplicate of millions of you can be created, where is the place for human beings? When the technique will develop, along with it, it will give a sense what to do, how to do, and even due to the technology development, even humans can go to other planets to live, establish a new life. Suppose for 1000 years more, if our civilization can survive, then traveling like from Amsterdam to Mysore, how we travel, like, okay, tomorrow see you in Saturn, see you in Jupiter, see you in Mars, like that, it becomes so casual to talk. Such an expansion will happen in next 1000 years, provided if our civilization survives. Or else, if we continue non-spiritual, like you may be knowing, if you have studied economics, there is a famous theory called Malthusian theory. So nature will bring its own cure, always. That's why nature will either end up destructing the whole human beings, or if we evolve, a spiritually evolved, human beings will be there. See, spiritually evolvement means very basically, you will not harm others, you will not do anything which may cause harm knowingly or unknowingly to others. So such a basic sensitivity will develop. Out of that sensitivity, what society will come, that will be entirely different. So we are in a very transitional time. In the next 50 years, the major turning point of the whole evolution of the human beings will be decided. Either we flower and it will be one of the beautiful civilization of trillions of civilizations, what going on at the existential level. See, for us, when we look at what humanity, what will happen in future, so all this appears as something big. But when we consider at the existential level, like the planet Earth, there are trillions of planets are there, where civilization is very evolved also, where civilization is at the baby step also. There is, it's a spectrum of full range of all possibility of happening. So when we consider this spiritual evolvement to the planet Earth, so in the next 50 years, whether on this planet Earth, in the next coming generations, what quality of life they will be able to survive, that is decided in what way we take. So for that, you can see now, both are going 50-50. Very strong current of spirituality is also rising up, and energy of spirituality is also coming up. At the same time, equally strong destructive energy is also coming up. So if you see the global picture of this planet, both ways it's becoming strong. So as a yoga practitioners, it's all our responsibility also to contribute for this positive bringing up of the energy, so that this planet will survive for next coming generations, and it becomes spiritually, technically, or politically, educational, in every dimension, it will become an example for all other future civilizations, whatever may come in different planets also. So once, that's what I mentioned, once technically we are able to evolve, imagine what will be there after 1000 years. After 1000 years, definitely from one planet to another planet, there will be easy transportation, and everything will be possible. So now, with this destructive mind, even if you go to another planet, you will be trying to destroy that planet. You will try to fight war. You want to try to occupy. It's so silly, huh? When you look at the concept of, oh, I occupy that land, I own that land, I want to expand my land. See, these are all the not liberated mind, it's a holding mind. See, when you occupy, what happens? Let's say, for example, at individual level, you walk out of your home and you occupied, let's say, 10 acres of land. So you occupied 10 acres of land. Okay, you think, oh, I own 10 acres of land. Then comes what? You have to put a fence around it, and you have to take care of the land. In the name of occupying the land, you becoming the servant of the land. You becoming the slave of the land. So it seems I occupied. It's not only in respect of occupying a particular place, whether it is a particular mind. Suppose even if you are trying to, like, you think, oh, I own this relationship, I own this mind, I own this person, whether it's children, wife, husband, partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it may be. So what comes next? If that soul is not evolved, you have to serve, you have to satisfy, like, it's kind of restrictive expression it becomes to life. That's why there is no meaning in occupying, owning, holding. It's all just ego satisfying, immature attitudes. Instead of it, you should flower, become one, become expansive. Don't be put yourself into any kind of restrictive way of seeing, oh, it's my child, it's my partner, it's my home, it's my. So the more the more identity, the more ego, more restrictiveness. You become slave. So once you are liberated from it, once you are free from such inhibitions, then you are a free soul, then you are a totally different person. So then there is no question of occupying, holding, keeping stock of something. So all these things will naturally go. You will have a very easy, happy, a real master life. Real master life means you are not bound or stick or held by any particularity. You are free. See, life is like that, no? Like once you live, you should be able to express. You should be able to bring out true self, who you are. People fall into their weakness in the mind. They try to find satisfaction with particularities. Whatever you own, you are the slave of it. Whatever may be. Even if you own a house, you have to clean it, you have to maintain it, you have to pay tax for it. You own a car, you have to maintain. So you have to find a balance. That's what. You have to plan your life properly. What you own, it is very, very, very crucial. That's why always I tell my students who comes to my place, even if you are trying to bring a piece of paper to me, ask me before bringing. Then I will decide whether it's needed or not. Because it's not only that I own something, then you have to give your energy. You have to be taking care of it. You need to be spending your life on it. So that's why a different way of looking at creation will happen once you are evolving spiritually. So this spiritual evolvement in parallel, in together, when it happens, it brings a very beautiful society. Or else, anyway, without spiritual evolvement, nothing will evolve. Imagine if we have another third world war. What will be the situation? What are all the technical evolvement happen? We fall back for another 50 years before. Everywhere destruction will happen. Lucky only 50 years before it happens. Even if we may fall to basic civilized condition when we started the journey as humans. Everywhere people harmed, sick, injured. That's why without spiritual evolvement, everything is meaningless. Once you have spiritual evolvement, then a meaningful expression will start. Whether it is at society level, whether it is at national level, whether it is at individual level, even in relationship. If the other person is not knowing themselves, or spirituality means to know yourself. So who don't know their own self, practically it is impossible to communicate or to have any meaningful expression with them. Superficially they may be together from outside. But again, it all becomes just a mind game. Even being together with another person will be just a mind game. Instead of having something holistic, something like from the base of your self-expression, what comes? Two persons together knowing themselves has an entirely different expression. They will be always jovial, loving, affectionate, giggling, smiling, always active, expressive, and meditative. This kind of togetherness will happen once the spiritually evolved society comes. So more and more such examples will happen. That's what. Without spiritual evolvement, meaning without knowing the self, meaning without developing the oneness, meaning without being compassionate towards the other, meaning without having that love, you being the love, nothing will develop also, whether you call development, whether you call evolvement, nothing will happen. Because this is the source. Spirituality means who you are. Without that development or evolution of who you are, nothing will fall in line. So nowadays, if we see at the next generation which are coming, who are much addicted to more online things, computer games, who don't have time to know who they are. They are becoming just like a robot involved with only outside. So nothing meaningful can be expected. So that's what being a responsible persons, knowing that the value of understanding the self, this message has to be spread globally. Because as I was mentioning, the next 50 years is very crucial. Either we fall into permanent evolutionary process established on this planet, or a destructive way of looking at life. So you may be observing, like after this war, what started from Russia, every country is thinking now to increase the budget for arms and ammunitions. Almost all the countries, they want to safeguard themselves, and see the line, it's falling away. What was built, disarmament, how many meetings were held, United Nations was established for the disarm movement, and gradually there were discussion to throw away all the nuclear arms and ammunitions. Instead of removing all the nuclear arms and ammunitions from the whole planet, from that way of talking, meeting, the whole humanity is falling to different route. Now, we all need to have our own nuclear arms and ammunition so that nobody will attack us. Because they are thinking this is the lesson. Because when Russia attacked, if Russia was knowing that it has a nuclear weapon, it would not have done it. So that's why it has become a mode for whether it is offense or defense, for both we need that. So such a destructive way the things are entering. So from such happenings, to survive, to enter into a new era, spiritual growth is very much required. That's why it's very important to practice the true spirituality. So now, based on this true spirituality, or what I say is technically how you can develop. To bring this, we are bringing the online drop-in classes, in a new way of approach for online drop-in classes of Yogasana class, posture class is developed. So through Yoga Gita, we are offering that through our students, where they can teach online or offline in different centers. So a new way of approach to postures will come. Why I am telling new way means, till now, what postures normally in the outside world they used to practice, it had no link for any spiritual growth or any link for knowing the self. So now this dimension is introduced, through which more contribution will be possible, because people like to practice postures, mainly in the West, because they can see the happening physically. They connect more when they are able to look at the physical happening. Metaphysical thing always it gets a little less attention. That's why more asana based or posture based classes are happening over the globe. So considering this, through posture practices, how knowing the self, how you can be healthy, how you can develop the love, affection, how you can respect other, how you can get a peace in the mind. So all these things, which appears quite impossible things to get out of practice of postures, will be made possible through this new way of looking at the positioning of the body in different postures. Towards this, a very good development is coming from Yoga Gita, and it's a contribution for this whole humanity. So you please involve in this revolutionary process regarding the posture practice. Of course, about the pranayama, meditation, everything, it will come in future. But since people are more attracted to the postures, we can start globally spreading this message of the way of practicing postures in alignment to self-awareness, in alignment to spiritual growth, in alignment to knowing who you are and the other in alignment to bring the true evolutionary process globally. So in this way, it's not only that what will happen if spiritually growth happens on this planet, how we can bring it, that practical dimension of how we can make it. To what extent? See, we all make our best efforts. In the end, whatever happens, it's okay. But what best possible thing we can do, we do. Because I and you, we all live in this crucial 50 years of making a new direction, or for the whole planet, this transition period, we are all happening to live now. We are all happening to live now, let's do it. Suppose if we had come after 100 years, or if we had come before 100 years, see, if we had come before 100 or 150 years, we all would have fighting wars in the war field. That was a different era. So even if we come after 100 years, it will be different era. Era means different energy, a different way things will be happening on this planet. So now we have come in this transition time. We have come means the soul in us has descended here. So think from that angle. See, always, what is satsang? Satsang means it's not like what you do from an egoistic angle. Satsang, sat means truth. Sang means to be in association with the truth. We all carry that sat within us, that truth within us, that soul within us, that love, that celebration within us. Can you connect to that sang? See, always satsang has to start from the self level, has to start from you, who you are. So once the satsang starts here, then the light is spread outside. That's why in your day-to-day life, don't think or act from the angle of only is my thing, is my ego, I want it. People live always in angry, frustration, holdings. Oh, I expected this, it's not happening, I got disturbed. See, all these dramas, they start in their mind. So don't look life from such a very lens of the ego. Stop it. This life is eternal, enormous, infinite. It keeps on happening and it's a continuous flow. Just you happen to be now where the soul are the core of that existence. See, what is soul? Soul means not like don't picturize. When I tell soul, don't picturize something which enters, something which leaves, or soul means something separate from you. I am here, soul is there. It's not like that. What is soul? Soul means the basic core essence of who you are. The moment the life leaves your body, what is this body? It's nothing. As long as that core essence of life is there in you, whether you call it as soul or consciousness or Purusha, anything you call, as long as it's there in you, so long every functioning will be happening. Or else, whatever you do, it has no meaning in a way. Like what you did 10 years before at this time, what you did, do you remember? No. 1 year before, what you did this time? On that day, it seemed to be very, very important. You were in a lot of stress. All this indicates your ignorance or less understanding of the happening. As long as you are living, live as a soul. Live fearless. Live the eternal life. Live the life of freedom. Don't fear for anything. And don't worry for anything. And whatever comes to your life as a fact, embrace it, live through it, go through it, and expand yourself, your presence. And live with joy and happiness, with love and affection. So, such a way of expression is not an imitation. It's not like, oh, Vijay has told, I will be smiling like you smile, inside you suffer. No. If you are suffering, whatever may be the reason, if you are suffering inside means you are ignorant. If you are suffering means you don't know the life. If you are worrying means you have not yet reached the state of wisdom. For what to worry? Why to worry? For what you are suffering? Who is suffering? Who is that I which is suffering? What is that I? So even if you consider, I have an I in me, that is suffering. What is that I? That I itself is changing. When you are a small baby, how was the I? When you are a child, when you are a kid, when you are going to college. So that I itself went on changing. What suffering you have is entirely different to what suffering a child has in your home, a baby has in your home. So the same environment. So like this, what you consider as I, it doesn't exist. See the irony of life. People do all the things. People suffer, worry, cry, torture for the thing which is not there. I is not there. Just it's a imagination, it's a concept. That's why in life, to be peaceful, to be happy, two things you need to know. The first primary thing is doership should not be there. Whatever you do, we tell in Sanskrit kartha bhav, meaning we should not do anything with ego. The doership, I am the doer. No. The second thing is, don't attach to the result. These two things is very important. And not to have doership and not to attach to the result. Even if you attach to the result, what is the use? What is the use? Once you do, it's done. Nothing is in your control. See, once doing is like shooting an arrow. Once the arrow is left, even some people do, when the arrow is left, they do their body like this so that the arrow goes like this. Nothing will happen. So once you have done, it is done. Nothing is in your hand. From this way you should look at your action. Who is doing the action? Not the I. It appears through me it's happening. Who is doing the action? For example, even if you consider the hand is doing the action. Have you brought this hand? This hand belongs to whom? Is it belongs to you? If it belongs to you, have you created it? It appears to belong to you because there is a name is there, a form is there. It all functions from the background of concept of I. The whole journey of spirituality is How to organize the journey of I? Organizing the journey of I will be a very beautiful topic, of course. How you can organize the journey of I? That decides the quality of life. It's a basic decisive thing which makes you. It's not like oh, I don't exist, I commit suicide, I die. It's not from that angle of extreme opposite. It's a balance of I. It's the evolution of I into totality, evolution of I into other, evolution of I to sustain, contain anything. It's very active, expressive, happy, celebration filled I. It's not the egoistic I. So this doership has to dissolve, and at the same time attachment towards what you did should stop. You do, that's it. If it happens as you expected, fine. If it doesn't happen, that's also fine. Because if it is not happening as per your expectation, so what? Ask a question in your life, why things has to happen as I expect? Why it is like that? If it is not happening, why you have to be attached to the result? If you look at all the sufferings, the reason is there, the source is there. You do something and the result is not as per your expectation. It applies to all. Even in relationship, you expect your partner to talk sweet, to talk polite, to talk intelligent, to support, or whatever it may be. If it is not happening, you suffer. Why you suffer? Be free. That's why this basic of, oh, yes, I live on this planet, it's an opportunity in this life, this journey has happened, I live an existentially full life, not an egoistic, suffering, torturing, worrying, thinking, paining. Why? This sickness. Constantly ask a question, why I can't be giggling, smiling, happy? For what I am living life? So this self-awareness should grow. That will bring a different creation in this existence. So I wish you all a successful journey. In this beautiful process, please involve yourself. In this process of knowing self, which is very, very crucial, not only for you, for your children, relative, friends, society, for each and every person on this planet, knowing the self is needed. Once anyone knows their self, things will be different. If a person is there in a family, one person knowing the self is in the family, the whole family will be happy. Naturally. Because that person will be radiating that positive energy, giggling, smiling, easy. So like this, in life, instead of looking from the lens of egoistic I, be the totality, open up. Don't shut your doors of your pains, sufferings, longings, belongings. I want, I don't want, it should be like that, it should not be like that. Don't fall into trap of restrictive way of doership. Don't be under the trap. You will be spoiling your whole life. Life is such a precious, beautiful thing. Don't waste it for ignorant, egoistic approach. Life is enormous, life is beautiful, life is infinite, life is celebration. Here what happens? Who don't know their own self, people are interacting between them. Then it becomes a burden, then it becomes a restrictive, then it becomes a struggle. So if it is happening, try to repair it. If it is not possible, then you can always take a decision based on what you can do. So that is why it is very important to know the self. So basically, what we need to understand is, in life, the most important thing is to know the self and spreading this, a technology of knowing the self. So let's together as a group, we carry this technology of knowing the self along with this modern technology what is developing. So we bring a spiritual technology along with the science technology. So hereafter, Yoga Gita will bring the spiritual technology, meaning practically you do this, do this, do this, do this. Through this, spiritual evolution or knowing the self will happen. So such a dimension of expression will come hereafter. So thank you all for being part of this satsang. We will continue this journey. Thank you all. Happy time. Wish you all the best.